June 2011. A quiet New York hotel ballroom. No press. No cameras. Just a handful of people around a single auction table. Up for grabs, 6,000 technology patents, covering wireless networks, data infrastructure, and mobile computing. Designs, processes, and inventions born in Canadian labs. The blueprints for a connected world. On one side, Google, fighting to defend Android from lawsuits that could bury it. On the other, an unlikely alliance: Apple, Microsoft, BlackBerry, Sony, and Ericsson, bitter rivals suddenly working together. Billions of dollars are about to change hands. But here's the thing: this isn't just an auction. It's a battle over who controls the future of wireless technology. And somewhere in the middle of it all, Canada's chance to lead that future quietly disappears. To understand why this auction became a turning point, we need to rewind. Nortel wasn't just another company. It was Canada's shot at being a global tech leader. And everything at the auction started with what Nortel built and lost. At its peak in 2000, Nortel Networks was a global tech powerhouse, worth $350 billion, making up more than a third of the Toronto Stock Exchange, and had nearly 100,000 employees worldwide. For a moment, Nortel wasn't just Canada's tech future. It was the future. But when the dot-com bubble burst, Nortel imploded. Years of layoffs, mounting losses, and accounting scandals left it crippled. By January 2009, Nortel filed for bankruptcy, the largest in Canadian history. Investors lost fortunes. Employees lost pensions. But there was one thing left: Nortel's patents, roughly 6,000 of them, covering everything from fiber optics and semiconductors to wireless networks, 4G, and the groundwork for 5G. These weren't just Canadian assets. They were global treasure. By 2011, the smartphone wars were at full throttle. Apple had reshaped culture with the iPhone, turning phones into pocket-sized computers. Google's Android was surging fast, activating hundreds of thousands of new devices every day. BlackBerry, once Canada's pride and the global smartphone leader, was fighting to stay relevant as its market share collapsed. And here's the catch: in this new world, patents were weapons. Whoever controlled them didn't just own pieces of paper. They controlled innovation itself. A strong patent portfolio meant you could sue rivals and block their products. Demand massive licensing fees on every phone sold. And shape industry standards to favor your technology. That's why Nortel's 6,000 patents were so explosive. They weren't outdated leftovers. They covered the backbone of modern wireless. For companies battling to dominate smartphones, these weren't just patents. They were leverage. A nuclear arsenal in a war where trillions were at stake. Critics would later call them Canada's crown jewels. Whoever owned them wouldn't just influence the next iPhone or Android phone. They'd shape the entire future of mobile computing, from the way information travels to how money moves. It started with Google's opening move, a $900 million stalking horse bid. A bold, aggressive number meant to scare rivals away. It didn't. Behind closed doors, Apple, Microsoft, Sony, Ericsson, and BlackBerry formed a secretive alliance called the Rockstar Consortium. Enemies turned allies, united by one mission: stop Google. The auction escalated fast. $1.3 billion, $1.7 billion, $1.9 billion. Then Google did something bizarre. It started bidding math jokes. $1.902 billion. Bruns constant. $2.614 billion. Meisel Mertens constant. And the headline maker, $3.14159 billion. Pi. Clever. But desperate. Google knew Android's survival was on the line. Without these patents, every Android phone on Earth was a lawsuit waiting to happen. Finally, the knockout punch, Rockstar Consortium dropped $4.5 billion, 5 times higher than analysts expected. Google walked away empty-handed. The patents were carved up like spoils of war. Apple claimed the largest share, nearly 800 patents tied to mobile interfaces and security. Microsoft and BlackBerry took smaller portions, hoping to protect their positions in a changing market. Ericsson walked away with critical networking technology, the backbone of mobile infrastructure. The rest stayed under Rockstar, the holding company formed by the winning bidders. Rockstar didn't build products. It built lawsuits. In 2013, Rockstar launched a legal offensive, filing suits against Google, Samsung, and Huawei, targeting Android at its core. Billions were suddenly in play. By 2014, Rockstar sold roughly 4,000 patents to RPX, a defensive patent pool, for about $900 million. But by then, the damage was done. The 6,000 patents born in Canadian labs, once a strategic edge, were now scattered across foreign giants. For Canada, this wasn't just a financial loss. It was a loss of influence. Nortel's innovations had formed the backbone of the mobile world, but Canada no longer had a stake in shaping how that world would evolve. Here's where the story cuts deep. When Nortel collapsed in 2009, the Canadian government didn't intervene. There was no bailout to restructure the company. There was no federal plan to salvage 23,000 employee pensions. And no strategy to protect Nortel's most valuable remaining asset, its patents. And when those patents went up for auction, Ottawa stayed silent. Critics later called the portfolio strategic assets, the digital equivalent of oil reserves. Whoever controlled them would control the backbone of wireless technology: 4G, LTE, streaming, encryption, payment systems, and real-time GPS. But Canada didn't fight to keep them. Meanwhile, other countries protect their tech crown jewels aggressively. In the US, Washington blocks foreign takeovers of defense or semiconductor firms through the Committee on Foreign Investment, CFI-US. In China, companies like Huawei receive billions in government subsidies to keep innovation domestic. Canada? It let Nortel's patents go to the highest bidder. Foreign bidders at that. Former Nortel executives and industry analysts warned Ottawa not to let this happen. They argued these patents weren't just business assets. They were part of Canada's technological sovereignty. But the government didn't move. No competitive bid. No effort to keep a stake. The only Canadian player in the room was BlackBerry, fighting for its life. And even BlackBerry couldn't compete. The Nortel patent fire sale wasn't just about a company falling. It was about control of wireless standards, data security, and the future of mobile technology. And Canada let that control slip away. Today, those patents sit at the foundation of the systems we rely on every day. The way your phone switches between 5G towers. How Netflix streams seamlessly to your device. The encryption that protects mobile payments. Every time you tap, swipe, stream, or navigate, you're touching technology born in Canadian labs, innovation Canada no longer owns. And the hardest part? It didn't have to be this way. With a strategic plan, with political will, with just a fraction of foresight, Canada could have kept a stake in the technologies shaping the modern world. Instead, Nortel's patents are scattered across multinational giants, fueling products and profits built elsewhere. Canada's role in shaping the digital age became a footnote. Thank you for watching True North Files. If you enjoyed this deep dive, let us know what you think below, and we'll see you when we crack open the next file.